I probably shouldn't be playing ball right now, but here's me hitting a double at Minute Maid Park last week. So it all started when I was 4 years old. My dad played baseball. He had the stolen base record at Longwood University, and he played pro ball with the Kansas City Royals. I always felt like baseball was in my blood. My grandfather played, my dad played, and all of my uncles. At a young age, I knew I'd be a ball player. At 8 or 9, I would dress up in a uniform to go outside. I just wanted to be like my dad, but my upbringing in baseball wasn't the smoothest. I always felt like I was overlooked. I was never on the best teams. Heck, I didn't make the middle school team. That's really when I started working hard. I never wanted to be overlooked again, and I never wanted to be cut again. My dad would always tell me, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. From there on out, baseball became an obsession. Went out to the field with my dad every day. I worked on my throwing, my hitting, my base running, and even the mental side of the game. My next year of middle school ball, I ended up making a team. And from then on there, I just started grinding. But there was still work to be done. When I was in high school, I didn't really play too well. I actually did better in football. But I always wanted to play baseball at the next level, so that was the goal. I actually had a situation in high school where I was about to go to the University of Louisville to play baseball. I was supposed to go as a fill-in for a guy who was supposed to get drafted in the first round, but the guy ended up signing, and I found out on my graduation day. It sucked telling everybody. Last minute, no less, Spartanburg Methodist called in South Carolina, and I ended up going there and redshirting. This was my first time away from home, from Richmond, Virginia. I didn't really do too well. Baseball wasn't going well. My grades weren't good. I literally had like a .8 GPA, and I didn't make the 35-man roster for the spring. Once baseball wasn't there, it tore me up. The only reason I was there for baseball. At this point, we call it rock bottom. I went home and worked at FedEx with my dad. I love baseball. I knew I had to lock it in if baseball was going to be a part of the picture. I was willing to try anything and do anything. And literally, I was praying one night, and God told me, stop living for the world because I have bigger plans for you. There was also a number of other things that I probably shouldn't have been doing at that time, but I was hard-headed and young. At this point, I was about to hang up my cleats, but my mom said, you're not quitting. You have to keep on going. There's more in you. So from that point on, I put my head down and I worked. Went to a community college in Virginia called J. Sarge Community College. If you know, you know. Trained. I worked at FedEx. I got my grades up, and I ended up going to a school called Prince George Community College. At this point, nobody else wanted me to play with them because of my past. But PGCC gave me a chance. That one chance was all I needed. I became an All-American that first year. I led the nation in stolen bases. I led the conference in average. And I was about to get drafted. But that didn't come through. And I didn't have the grades to go to a higher school. So I stayed at that school hoping that I would get some more eyes on me. And I ended up pulling my hamstring the first game of the year. I tried to come back quickly, and that's what caused my other hamstring to pull. So I had 2 pulled hamstrings to start off my second year of college. When I look back at it, I focused on my offseason of putting on weight and not running enough, and that's what really caused my body to break down. So my second year at Prince George Community College wasn't the same year. So that's what led me to Norfolk State University. I had a D1 or bust mentality. Like, if I wasn't going D1, I didn't want to go anywhere else. In 2019, going into Norfolk State, it wasn't a good year. I made a lot of stupid mistakes off the field, and I batted like 200. 2019, bounce back season. Starting shortstop, senior year, and then the season get canceled. COVID. We were 10 games in and our season gets canceled. So at this point, I'm stuck. Until I hit up a friend that I knew that had a connection with Reggie Williams, an ex-big leaguer with the Angels organization. He had a house in Tampa, Florida, where it was pretty much like a boot camp. You eat, breathe, and sleep baseball. This was all during COVID. The goal was to get drafted while getting better. But with no numbers to prove what you can actually do, it can get really hard. So I went with Joe Torre with the Black Sox to go the indie ball route. I did really well. I got a lot of reps in. I even got an opportunity to go to spring training with the Gary Railcast in the American Association. I actually had a chance of making a team, but I almost broke my ankle. Not quite, but it was a really bad sprain. Team didn't want me anymore. And I also had to drive with a messed up ankle all the way to Chicago to fly back to Virginia. I ended up rehabbing for 6 months, back in my mom and dad's basement. I asked God, I'm working hard, I'm trying to do things the right way. What's going on? Things just wasn't going my way. I get a call from Coach Reggie, and he says I should go back to play school to finish up my COVID year and put up numbers. He had a connect at Florida National University. I moved all of my stuff from Virginia to Miami. And a week later, the coach ended up quitting. He said it's not going to work out for him. So here I am, stuck again. 3 months, I stayed in Miami. Trained, kept my body right, worked at a local facility. And then the coach who ended up quitting hooked me up with Warner University. I went for a tryout and they loved me. I ended up being the starting shortstop that year. I studied my master's in ministry, and not only me, but my team ended up having a good year. From there, I went back with Joe Torre with the Black Sox.
This one's lifted.
He got me signed to the Northern Colorado Owls. I played in the Pioneer League and went crazy. This was my first year considered as a pro, and I did really well. From there, I went back to the Pioneer League with the Ogden Raptors. I ended up getting traded. I was there for a week, and I got traded to the Northern Colorado Owls. And then I got cut. I got released. And then I ended up getting picked up by the Rocky Mountain Vibes. And I ended out the year there. I was on 3 teams in 2023. After my last year there, God put it on my heart to move on. I didn't want to keep on playing indie ball. No money, moving across the country. I just didn't feel like it was right for me. So I even thought about playing overseas. I knew God was telling me it was going to be something else, but I didn't know what that looked like. Then the Bananas hit me up. Barry reached out to me in late September after the season and said, hey, we have a tryout in Daytona. Went to the tryout dressed up as like Michael Jackson. Going into that tryout, I was thinking to myself, what's there to lose? I'm going to see if I like it. And I did. I had so much fun. A month later, I found out I made the team. I was super excited, but also in a little disbelief, because I made the flagship team, the Bananas. Here we are now. I'm still having a lot of fun. I'm learning how to become a better ball player. I'm learning how to become an entertainer. Something that I learned throughout this journey is you can't be so hard on yourself. Understand that it is your journey. Everything is working for your good, even if you don't see it. My perspective now is that you have to stay in today. You have to be in the present and know that God has a plan. You're not ever going to come to a point where you have it all figured out. It's an everyday journey. And really, baseball ain't that deep. Baseball is just a game. It's not who I am. It's something that I do. And that's the best way to look at it. As always, TGFG.